我有機會咧嚟到呢度咧係訪問5位非常之顯赫一時嘅大人物啊！佢哋係大人物，唔係因為佢喺邊度咧有一啲豐功偉績，而係佢哋喺呢個世界某個角落係好平實咁樣係服務咗一啲社群，令到佢哋有一啲人人都認為佢哋咧係一個絕大嘅好人，嚟可以參加呢個扶輪社嘅 The One 呢個國際人道主義大獎。咁我今日咧嚟到呢度咧係會慢慢坐低同佢哋問下佢哋對佢哋以往嘅工作嘅一啲體驗，同大家咧分享下佢嘅經驗嘅。嗱，我第一個嘅要介紹咧就係 Father Joe 啦。Father Joe 咩咧？就喺泰國嗰度咧係巡視咧係服務一啲幼兒，尤其是咧佢哋係冇書讀啦，或者患咗愛滋病啦，受到病嘅感染啦，或者係無父無母擺低度冇人照理嘅。咁呢個咧係一個好特別嘅一個社會工作上面咧好驚人嘅一個功績嚟嘅。咁我哋翻咗。
แล้วก็ถ้าหากว่ามีคนถ่ายดูเรื่องนี้ขอประคุณด้วยนะแล้วก็ให้เป็นสุข
我就唔知道佢講乜嘢啦，不過我都估計咧就話佢都係好希望將佢呢個信息咧傳遞俾大家，希望更加多嘅人咧係投身做佢嘅呢個公益嘅事業啊！多謝大家。咁我會咧開始咧係做呢個訪問啦。咁第一個問題咧就問下佢哋幾位咧佢哋而家嘅工作嘅情況，目前嗰個發展係點樣嘅？
To help as many children as we can, the poorest of the poor, and those who have nowhere else to go, and basically to go to school and go to school and go to school. When I was a young priest in the slaughterhouse, because Buddhists and Muslims do not kill pigs, and it was the Catholics who were doing this. The Catholic children did not have a chance to go to school. And so now the Catholic children are Buddhist and Muslim and Hill tribe and 8 children and street children, everybody. And we want to educate every child that we possibly can, give them a chance to go to school. So when I was young, I was very poor, and they gave me a chance, an opportunity, and we want to do that for everybody.
So right now, how many schools you have built for them?
Well, we have, right now, today, we have 22 schools. We're teaching kindergartens. And we've taught, through the years, we've taught 50,000 children. 50,000. But now we're teaching this year about 2,800 kindergarten children who have no place else to go. And some Hill tribe children, some Sea Gypsy children, some Burmese children, Cambodian, the workers' children, whoever we can help.
Okay. The second question is, why you choose to teach these young children?
Well, because when I was young, someone helped me, of course. And really, the United Nations, everyone else said the best you can do is to give the youngest children an opportunity to go to school. And also, no one was helping them. There was no one there. It was very simple. There's no one there. They're not going to school. They're not going to kindergarten. And if you're 6 years old and you've never gone to school, it's too late. And nowadays, it's too late. So you must start school. It's like kung fu. You must start when you're very little. If you start kung fu when you're 6, that's way too old. And in school, so start when they're when they're 3, 3.5, of course. So that when they're 6 years old, they can go to government school and continue their education and have a new life.
So when you are providing your service, do you have any challenges? How you are going to overcome them?
Well, you see, we have approximately 200 teachers, in all of these schools. And the challenges is to overcome, is so that the children can go to school, so they can get proper documentation, so that see, many of them live with their grandmothers because their mothers and fathers are working or gone or in prison or died of AIDS or lost in the oceans. So the obstacles is to help every child go to school and have enough to eat. You know, in one of the places we work with the Sea Gypsy children, you know, a bar of soap, that's on this little island with 90 families. A bar of soap, that's for rich people. A toothbrush, you never heard of that. That's for rich people. And clothing, they don't have, you know, they wash their clothing in the ocean. But no, the challenges is to find the poorest of the poor and to try and serve them. And try and serve them. And to try and help them. But you must ask permission from the poor. You must ask permission from the poor. You see, it's so many people say, well, I'm important. Well, I'm not. But the important person in our organization, of course, is Sister Maria, who was born in Macau. Sister Maria Chan. And she's 82 years old, and she's a very holy woman. And Sister Maria is the heart of everything. But the challenges are if you see a child on the street, then you want to help them. If you see a child that's not going to school, well, let's go to school. Let's go talk to grandmother. Let's go talk to your mother, your auntie, your uncle. Let's go to school. And then when they go to school, you have to feed them so they have something to eat. No?
So why are you so much devoted in serving these young people? As a foreigner, you are not a Taiwanese?
You're very kind. You're very kind. And am I devoted? No. It's just, when I was young, I was very poor, and I always said that I always want to help others. But no, I consider it an honor and a privilege to serve the poor and to be with the poor. You see, you must ask permission, as I said before, but this is our whole life. You must ask permission from the poor to try and be with them. You must ask pardon from them for trying to serve them, and you must thank them for allowing you to come into their families. It's an honor and a privilege beyond belief. It's an honor that children or the parents would say hello to you, that they would allow you into their lives. They would allow you to be in the slum with them. That's an honor. It's a privilege. It's a great honor. Beyond anything else in this whole world.
So, how you feel right now, being nominated and now come to the say, being one of the finalists? What is your feeling right now?
Well, first of all, I'm very honored, but really, don't tell anyone. It's the wrong person. It should be Sister Maria.
Oh.
Because she's the saint. And we have a little lady about this big who was terribly, terribly injured. Her husband threw her away and gave her AIDS and then ran over her with his pickup. She's all crippled. But she's the saint. She takes care of all the little children with AIDS. And her name is Mrs. Shrimp because she's so little. And we got another one who is another woman who is on the streets working with the street children every night. They're Buddhists. They're Buddhists. They're Buddhist saints. And they're the ones. And we got a man who's just wonderful. He's in court. We're in court about 20 times a week in police stations and in court helping children who have been accused. So these are the ones. These are the not me, not me.
But you are the leader. You are the figurehead, right?
They're very nice. They let, because I speak a bit of English, but that's all.
That's okay. But if you are winning you are the winner of this award, then they will be
Of course, they're the ones.
supported,
They're the ones who
encouraged.
receive the award. Yes, I mean I go up and smile, but they're truly the saints, because you need saints, you need holy people to do these things. And I'm not very holy, but Sister's holy, and these Buddhists, they're holy. They're very wonderful people, and that's the heartbeat.
咁我想問一問大家咧，完咗今日之後，你哋跟住有冇啲咩嘅新嘅計劃繼續係要去做嘅咧？
Well, we're trying not to expand. We're trying to find in this new world in Southeast Asia, and we're trying to find the poorest of the poor. There's more children who are not going to school, and we're going to go and look for them and find them. Say, would you like to go to school? Would you like to have this opportunity? There's children with AIDS. We said, would you, even though they have new medicines and all these things, but would you, staying with their grandmothers and their grandfathers, and they're getting old, they can't take care of them. I said, would you like to come and stay with us a while and go to school? And eat some good medicines and grow up and be strong. So that's the dream. And it's a dream. And you know, the people around us, it's only we only live by heartbeat and by respecting the children. You see, the children, Dominic, are our teachers. I'm not the teacher. I'm old and fat and bald. The children are the teachers, and we listen to them. They teach us about love and trust, tolerance, and how some of them suffer pain, and they offer up their suffering, and if we can be with them. But they teach us. You know, I'm the old priest. But the children teach me every day how to be a good priest. It's not me teaching them. That's totally arrogant. It's the children teaching me. And one of them said yesterday, Father Joe, I said, yes. They said, you're going to Hong Kong. And I said, yes. They said, little girl pointed her fingers at me. She said, don't you forget to say your prayers. I said, yes.
假如你哋贏咗今晚攞到個大獎之後，你會將呢個消息第一時間通知邊一個人咧？係邊一個你要第一時間通知佢？
His children or
Well, that's very simple. I have to tell Sister Maria.
okay.
Because she's the heartbeat. And you must realize Sister Maria, in Catholic terms, is the foundress of a religious order. 100 years from now, she'll be a saint in heaven. But no, and the reason is every organization has strong women. And in Thailand, we have strong women. She's a very strong woman. And she is always, all of the problems she's taken care of. And now she's getting a bit older. But no, I'd tell her, and I would, as I said, I would tell my mommy in heaven and my daddy, and say, we received this wonderful award. And everybody around us did.
好啦，咁如果你贏咗之後咧，你會攞到咧係美金10萬蚊嘅，咁你會點樣利用呢一筆嘅獎金咧嚟去做啲乜嘢咧？
Well,
To buy more food, to buy more.
You're very kind.
Simple.
You're very kind. We would give this to the women and the children. It's not mine.
Yeah,
It's
I
certainly
know.
not mine. And they would say, where are the poorest, and who can we help, and how can we use this money for a long time? You see, we have 12 children now in universities in the United States and in Canada, and they're coming back to help us now. We've received scholarships for them. But anyway, how would we use the money? I would ask everyone, the whole staff, I said, God has given us this money. And it's not for Father Joe to decide. I mean, I can go, wow, we want to do this, and they'll say, yes. You say what you want, but they will decide. That's the way it's supposed to be. They get together with the children and the staff. We have a wonderful woman who is our executive director, and we have a young priest, and everybody, and they decide all together.
Okay.
For example, the children in prison, in children's prison, in children's reform schools. So you would help them, and some of them want to go to school. And there's a lot of elderly people in the slums. They'd say we'd want to help them. And there's this women's group of 600 women, and they collect old bottles and paper and their group, and then they sell them again and help the old people. So there's old people's group, and they decide.
Okay.
Now I have to sign, but 3 other people must sign before I sign.
Okay.
So yes, we would use it for what our staff wants, and what Mrs. Gung wants. You know, and she loves hot peppers. So she would say, you know, of this $100,000, can I have $1 to buy very, very hot chili peppers? And we'd say, I think so.
Okay.
好啦，嚟到最後啦，咁大家參加咗呢一個大獎之後咧，咁對呢個大獎有冇啲乜嘢嘅意見可以提供俾我哋作為一個參考，俾我哋將來有啲咩可以係作為改善嘅咧？
I'm totally excited, and I think the business community, Rotary, who are doing this is a wonderful thing. We want to encourage them to do this, to share their wealth, and they're doing this. You see, this is a wonderful example to the world, and it's a wonderful example to me. And I see something like this, and I say, wow, these are wonderful people. It gives me strength and encouragement to go on. I say, if these good business people are so good, then I better be a better priest. And I better go visit one more child. I better walk through the slums and visit one more auntie who is not well today. So it gives me great courage, because I get old and discouraged. But you got these wonderful business people, and I say, if they can do it, then the old priest can do it too.
Okay.
See, I was driving my car the other day, and I honked the horn. And somebody in the slums, and somebody says, oh, Father Joe. They pointed their finger at me, which is very strong in Thai. Pointed their finger at me. Says, Father Joe, you're a priest. You shouldn't be honking your horn. You're supposed to be holy. I said, yes. So I say yes to these wonderful people. And please continue, and please give good example to people like me.
Thank you for your.
We'll see you again. We'll be in contact.
坐喺我旁邊嘅就係另外一個嘅最後參選嘅賽人，咁佢咧就係 Valerie， 咁Valerie咧係喺埃塞俄比亞工作嘅一個護士，佢個本業咧就係一個接生嘅護士嚟嘅，咁佢喺嗰邊咧就見到有好多女士咧都即係因為生產嘅問題，因為早婚嘅問題。喺嗰個護理上面咧係有好多缺失，咁令到好多孩子咧早產啊或者夭折啊，女士咧因為嗰個生 BB 嘅問題咧得唔到好嘅照顧咧，而遭受到好大嘅傷害嘅。咁佢咧就喺嗰度咧已經服務咗差唔多20幾年㗎啦。咁今次咧好高興咧係嚟到接受我哋嘅訪問。Thank you for coming to Hong Kong.
It's my pleasure, my real pleasure.
咁第一個問題咧，就問下我哋幾位咧，佢哋而家嘅工作嘅情況，目前嗰個發展係點樣嘅
Well, in the first place, I'm a midwife and nurse, but that's many years ago I finished my training, and I've had the privilege to live with people called AFAR, A-F-A-R, or pastoralists, nomadic pastoralists, for now 23 years. And these are one of the few pastoralists left on the face of earth. They live in the most frugal part of the world where it's almost desert. And when I and my husband got together with other Afar people to think about what to do about the Afar had no education and no health. And this is only in 1994 we had this discussion. And now it is a great privilege to work with my husband and with other AFAR for all those years. We've started an organisation which is the AFAR People's Organisation. It's called AFAR Pastoralist Development Association. And we're working on the whole range of development issues that the AFAR want. Firstly, their health and education. That's the primary one. Education is the energy block, which opens up everything. Because they were 2% literate when we started, 2%. They had no opportunity of education. Their language was not used in the written form. It is now used. We've been able to teach 100,000 people to read and write. But when you come to the reality of their health, you've got lots of nasties, like not being vaccinated, suffering from malaria very much, tuberculosis and all those sorts of things. And basically, AFAR have one of the worst health parameters in the world, particularly for children. When I did a survey, this is way back in 1998, I shocked myself to find that 1 in 3 children do not reach their 5th birthday in the AFAR society because of simple death that can be prevented. Okay, and when you think of maternal health, it's also as bad as that. It is very serious, the amount of women who are dying in childbirth, and especially the number of newborn babies that are dying. So we are working very much on prevention, disease prevention, firstly that, and then working with the remote area AFAR, so we have to walk there, we go with camels, it's very dry, very barren, and we treat them as well as we take vaccination to them, and in the process of years we've made some achievements, but we need to do a lot more.
面對緊一啲咩嘅困難，有啲咩嘅挑戰？
Well, the biggest one is the fact that the people are nomadic. So building a clinic or a school is not appropriate. It doesn't help. So we had to develop a mobile form of health service and education service, and we've done that. And that was not easy. What now is the challenge is that the government accepts that, because the government, well, like any government in the world, is fairly conservative. And they only think of clinics and schools in the fixed position. So we are now trying to get the government to understand that, you know, you do need this mobility. You need to put all the goods on the back of a camel and walk to the people. You need to go house to house to reach the people. And this is how we've reached the people, the children, for vaccines such as measles, whooping cough and so on. These diseases still kill AFAR children very much. And reaching out to get, now we're in the process of registering every single pregnant mother, for example. And this is to do antenatal checking and so on, to try and reduce this incredible maternal death rate. So it's getting that model into the government hand is a big challenge. And in the first place, we have to be always innovative and improve ourselves all the time to make the model right. We work through the AFAR language, the AFAR culture. We involve the AFAR traditional leaders. It's very, very traditional society.
So are you satisfied with the present outcome?
Well, yes, but I see a huge road ahead. You know, we've come so far. I think we're on the right road, shall I say, but I think that we have a lot more to do. I mean, just as recently as a week ago, I put a young girl who's only 15, she'd had a baby, and she developed what they call a fistula. So she's unable to control her urine, poor little girl. And she was very frightened. I put her into a hospital in Addis Ababa to be treated, to be operated on. And that is through illiteracy. The people are illiterate, they're marrying the girls too young, they have no antenatal checking, and nobody knew that she was unable to safely deliver her baby, you know. The baby died, So we've got this sort of circumstance all the time, and we have a long way to go to overcome it entirely. We're making step by step, and we've got lots more new ideas to try and improve safe motherhood, and I hope to go forward with that one.
So I know it's a long, long way to go. And what are the driving force behind you that make you so devoted in the sort of service?
Well, I think that's fairly easy. The overall guiding force is good God in heaven, otherwise I don't have the energy. I mean, I'm only a simple person, and I have quite an angry character sometimes, but God gives me the patience. But in the end, it's the energy I get from seeing the people on the ground doing the work. We've trained over, 232 we have now, community health workers. We have 303 AFAR teachers. We have 270 AFAR women who are literate, who are going house to house raising awareness. And all these AFAR from their own communities, you see their enormous energy and their enormous drive to make a change for their own people. That gives you energy, because they will make the change. They're people from the community, and they believe in it because, they have their own history of all their own hardships. As a woman, they had nasty things happen to them, like female genital mutilation, being forced into marriage, and they want to overcome all those difficulties, and they want to have a better life. And so their energy gives me energy.
They are your driving
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
你參加呢一個大賽嘅心情係點咧？當你被提名之後，有啲咩嘅感覺咧？咁嚟到而家啦，已經去到你入到最後5強啦。今晚就會知道你哋邊一位咧就會攞到呢個大獎啦。咁你嘅心情係點樣？可唔可以話俾大家分享一下咧？
Well, I can only say one thing. I'm extraordinarily surprised because AFAR is hardly known to the world. There are 1.5 million people inside Ethiopia, and I don't think the world really knows about them at all. So that Rotary International took this cause up, I'm really, really surprised and thrilled. And then that it should be me here, I'm very humbled because it's not just my effort, it's the effort of all those incredible pastoralist people who became literate, who got trained and working so hard. So, I see myself as representing them a little bit. And, why me? I don't know. I don't think that I'm very... But I'm I'm thrilled to think that Rotary International should even consider the AFAR. I'm thrilled. And I would want that the world knows that these beautiful people with their amazing their amazing traditional knowledge systems and their capacity to survive in a desert area, that it should be put forward by you people. I honestly thank you. I thank you very much.
你哋跟住有冇啲咩嘅新嘅計劃繼續係要去做嘅咧？
Even speaking to you gives me energy, so we will push on and push on harder to make sure that women do not die in childbirth and do not get injured in childbirth. That's a big thing for us. And when you see these girls, they're so young, 15, 16, 17, 20, and it's so terrible. I mean, I've lived a good life, and what about them? I say to myself. So we will push on and do more. We are not covering by any means all the AFAR people. There are still some AFAR who have never ever had education or health opportunity yet. So we know we have to reach them, and we'll do what we can to move on.
Okay. Now, if you won the award tonight, who will be the first one you would like to let them know about the result?
Well, I'd certainly ring my husband because he is actually our organisation director, and that's how I'm in the organisation, I guess. He's an AFAR. But I'd also ring our team because they deserve the credit as much as more than I do, I think. Our hard workers out there who are really working so hard even today to reach out to Afar, and they have a very strenuous life. And what's been achieved is really their credit. So I'd let all those people know. Yeah.
Okay. And as you know, if you won tonight, and you will be given an award of money is $100,000 US. How would you like to spend this sort of money?
That money would be incredibly great in making our maternal health work more substantial. For example, we have two districts called Dowi and Talalak. We haven't reached them at all. And the clan leadership of those two districts are knocking on our door saying, please help us. So we really do need to get to those districts, to train people and to get maternal health running there. They are suffering a lot, I know that. And then we would connect them very much to we want to build a safe mothers, a waiting area for women at risk in those two districts. This is very important because when you find a woman who's going to be in trouble in labour, you've got to do something with her. She should be under the guidance of a midwife. Normally these women deliver 90% of them in their homes by themselves with only traditional birth attendants. So those traditional birth attendants need training, they need equipping, and so there's much to do, and it will be wonderful to do that. It would be a pleasure to do that.
Okay. The last question will be, would you like to give us some comment or remarks, suggestion to this award? Because we'll be running this again year and year later, so would you like to give us some comment?
I think that this is a marvellous initiative for you people. And when it's only, to my regret, it's only in recent years I've really learnt of the Rotary organisation. It is an international culture, and that you choose to do an award like this, through this system you can really bring out into the world attention good stories, positive stories, how to move forward. And this is what's necessary. We have such a negative world, you know. We're full of bad news. And so if we do get good news stories out, and if we do see that way, people internationally can come to the positive side alongside Rotary, and the whole thing can go forward much more. I think it's an excellent initiative, and I wish you well in the years ahead, and I hope more and more that you will bring out the good news stories around the world, because we have so many tragedies, and we are so eager as human beings to create tragedies, it seems. We'd better start creating good news stories, I think. Yes.
Mary, thank you for your time taking this interview. 多謝你接受我哋嘅訪問，多謝你，多謝你。咁又嚟到另外一個嘅嘉賓，我要訪問咧，就呢位非常尊貴嘅女士咧，就係 Shruti， 佢喺印度咧就負責佢哋一個家族嘅基金。呢個基金咧亦都投資咗好多喺個貧民啊，喺女士嘅地位啊各方面咧都落咗好多功夫嘅。咁佢今次咧就被選做我哋今次嘅參選嘅人之一，咁亦得到好大嘅支持，亦都鼓舞。咁佢亦都會咧係表示咧就話佢將來咧亦會利用到佢哋家族嘅力量啦，同埋集合到扶輪社所有嘅全世界各區嘅人嘅力量咧嚟集合埋一齊咧嚟去推動呢個公益嘅事業嘅。咁今日我哋非常之多謝Shruti 咧嚟接受我哋嘅訪問。Thank you very much, Shruti。多謝你接受我哋嘅訪問。
The first question I'm going to ask is, we want to know who you are, like what you are doing in India. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yes, thank you very much for this interview. And I can introduce myself and my work. I have been a very simple housewife. And I married into the Shroff family. The Shroff family is an industrial family. And our elders believed that wherever we had our industries, the area surrounding those industries and the development of those areas should be our moral responsibility. And we should not only look at the profits of the industry, but the profits of the industries must be shared back with society. And so the Shroff Foundation Trust had come into being. It was started in 1980 by my father-in-law, Rotary Shroff. I was working, doing a lot of honorary work before with my family and the other institutions of my family. But as I came to live in Vadodara, and this trust was here, I started working. You know how life takes turns, and my life also took a turn, a very sad turn indeed, and I lost my daughter who was 4 years old. And it was my father-in-law, that was about 30 years back. And my father-in-law and my gurus, they showed me the way out of the grief. They showed me how to open my heart and bring smiles to the people, to the children of the less fortunate, and how I can find my daughter in the smiles of all these children. And they put me on this path of selfless service. And I started working with the Shroff Foundation Trust. And I began with the children and with one village. And as we entered the village and we were looking at it and we were talking about it, the people came forward, and the first thing that I understood was that I cannot go with any one single aspect of life and say, well, I am going to work on this. But the issues of development in totality is what I'm going to have to look at and have an integrated program that is going to solve their issues of development. And so it started with one village and with water and children. And now it grew to 420 villages. From a population of 1,500 people in the village, we now touch the lives of more than 300,000 people. So our projects are more integrated: natural resource management, water conservation, soil conservation, forestry, agriculture, horticulture, animal husbandry, livelihood, security, vocational training for the young, education for the young children, and literacy and empowerment and capacity of building capacities of women. Because you know, even though India has progressed so much, the status of women is still quite
it's quite low.
low. Yes. And presently the Shroff Foundation and myself are working on all these subjects in about 405 villages. Our most important work is in the tribal block of Chota Udaipur. It is one of the identified as one of the most backward areas of the country. And though Gujarat is so advanced a state, this area is about 130 kilometers from the very urban city of Vadodara, and yet so backward. And that is where I went. They say, think globally and act locally. So even though Gujarat is going global, we have to act locally for these tribal people. And when I first visited this area and came back, it was a very sad story. I had that day seen about 4 villages of that area, and I had met about 400 children, and not one was nutritionally normal. The people had no clothes. They were in
Really?
starvation. And when I came back, and my father-in-law was there, and he asked me to describe. And when I talked to him about this, there were tears in his eyes. He was a freedom fighter and a very great social worker himself. And he said, we must work selflessly, even if the work is difficult. We must work hard and consistently for the people and for building the nation. And so I accepted a government program of natural resource management called the Watershed and started working in these villages about 15 years ago. Though the Shaw Foundation had been working in other villages for about 25, 30 years. In this tribal area, we started working 15 years ago.
Okay, I see. Now I know that the Shaw Foundation Trust is backed up by your family, and financially or might be on resources. It is much better than most of the charity organization. But still, do you encounter any problem or challenges that you need to overcome?
Yes. Though the Shaw family, as you correctly said, supports the foundation with money and resources in the terms of knowledge. You know how NGOs work.
Yeah.
And what we learn from our industries is the systems and how we professionalize the NGOs. So that, of course, is there. But challenges are many. Because when you work with the people, there are no boundaries. It's not like working in an industry where everybody's going to listen to you. This is where you have to win the trust and faith of the people. They have to accept you. And your very first challenge is to make that connection. So if we make that connection very correctly and properly, they put great faith and trust in us and accept us. And then we can kind of start working with them. The second challenge that I see and face in my tribal villages in India is the illiteracy of the people. No exposure to anything. Their ignorance. And so we have to make so many demonstrations, even for agriculture, even to introduce seeds. It takes a lot of time to convince them, to show them the way. And then when they accept, they work so hard, and it is so beautiful to see the results. Also, the area in which I am working, the tribal area, these tribes are registered with the government as criminal tribes. But when I started working with them, I found that they were really lovely people. Their whole criminal background was because of their starvation, because they had nothing. So they just looked at people on the highways, whoever came their way. They just stole everything, and that is how they survived. But once their livelihood security was there, they are really basically very good people and souls at heart. So that was one challenge, was to bring about this huge change from such scarcity and deprivation to at least a life of subsistence for them. And for that also we had to work in so many areas. We had to look at their soil. The area is geographically the basin of the river Orsak. And this river basin is a hilly area. And with about 45 inches of rain in a year, the soil is eroded, deprived, and the land is lost. And also the water is lost because there's no water conservation. And that was the main reason for the revolt. So we had to face that first challenge of restoring their lands, conserving their soils, conserving water. So once that was done, then we could look at other aspects like agriculture and horticulture, and then things started.
So, what is the outcome? Are you satisfied with what you have done so far?
Yes, I think I am a very happy person because today these people, they have worked so hard. Thousands and thousands of farmers, if I may say almost about 40,000 farmers, have accepted new technologies of agriculture, new variety of seeds. They've looked at dairy development, and they've joined the mainstream of the milk union at the district level. The young who wanted to be entrepreneurs, who never dreamt. But when we spoke to them, they started dreaming. They also wanted to do small businesses. Today they are able to do businesses. We have been able to empower them, to get them bank loans so that they can do their small businesses. And I see the women attending the literacy classes and sending their children to school, which is very important to me, because when the mothers don't understand, and when they don't bother about the children going to school, but once they are literate, it makes so much difference. And now I see them sending their children to school. And today, they are earning where they had seen nothing. Today they are earning, if I may quote in INR, in rupees, about 100,000 rupees a year, where they had not seen even 15,000 rupees a year. So, and the gross domestic product.
So this is
the GDP, yes, the GDP they are pushing at 9%, which is far, far high above the national average. The national average of India today stands at 6 point something, but my tribal bloc pushes it at 9%. I am proud of them. I am very happy. And when I see the return of investment, it's taken only 1.5 years. Which industry, tell me, can give you an return on investment so fast? So it is very, very satisfying to see them. And today I see them, now they have visions of development, a very clear vision of development. There are young emerging leaders from the communities. That is very satisfying.
咁嗱，我都想知道一下咧，點解你哋會咁投入、咁熱心係做呢份工作咧？
As I said, the first driving force was my father-in-law, Govind Shroff, who taught me to live life like this, who believed in selfless service, who believed in the teachings of Swami Vivekananda and Ramakrishna Paramahansa. And my guru, monk of the Ramakrishna Order, Swami Vivekananda, and my present guru, Swami Jitananda, who taught me that each soul is potentially divine. And the goal is to manifest this divinity by controlling your nature, internal or external, by work or by worship. This is the true religion. All other rituals, dogmas, they are but a secondary detail. And I found this so true in my work, that every soul, every person that I work with is really potentially divine. There is goodness in everybody. And if I am able to bring out that goodness, that positive part of the person, that even criminals can turn into beautiful human beings. So that was my second. And third is my husband, Atul Shroff, my silent supporter, who supports me day in and day out in my work. So 3 people, and the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, his dictums of Hindu Swaraj, of revitalizing the Indian villages, which are so true even today. This is what inspires me. And then, of course, when we see the results, the encouragement is great. The people, when they come back, then when they come and start contributing to you, the people to whom you went out to help, but they are now coming back to contribute to you. What more sense of pride can you have? And
That
it
is the job
inspires
satisfaction.
satisfaction. And it also motivates and inspires you to work more and more.
Now, after this award celebration, you are being nominated and now come to the stage of being one of the finalists. How is your feeling right now? You will be knowing who will be the winner tonight. So now, how do you feel being nominated and now?
I am, of course, feeling very happy. I'm also very feeling grateful to the Rotary Club of Baroda Metro that nominated me. And I'm thinking of the words of the Rotary International President Kalyan Banerjee, who said, "Reach within to embrace humanity." And I'm remembering him and I'm thinking, oh, how true it is. How true it is. And here are the Rotarians in the world. I knew only the Rotary Club of Baroda Metro, but here are all the Rotarians in the world who have such a passion to be change makers, to have selfless service. And the core values of the Rotary, as I come to know more and more about the Rotary, the very core values of the Rotary, of selfless service to humanity, to the fellowship, friendship, integrity, diversity. I think these are the same core values that the Shah family and the Shah Foundation has. What a synergy there is between the two. This is my feeling right away.
完咗今日之後，你哋跟住有冇啲咩嘅新嘅計劃繼續係要去做嘅咧？
I will be returning to India. I will be returning back to my work. And there are two very important projects that are about to begin and that have been heavily on my mind for the last 1.5 years. The one project is called the Mission Mangalam. It is a project of the Government of India, which is a pilot project for the capacity building and empowerment of women. The Government of India has targeted about 700,000 women in about 6 states. It's a pilot program. And the Gujarat government is targeting about 100,000 women. Our Chief Minister Narendra Modi had invited me to join in this program. And the kind of targeted women that we are looking at is about 30,000 women in these tribal blocks. In capacity building of these women, empowerment of these women, building sustainable livelihoods to them, education to them. And it's a very beautiful program working for the women. That is one program I am looking at. The second program is the treatment of the Toten River basin of the Orsam River. What we have done up till now has shown us such great results. But what we have been able to treat is, say, about 15,000 hectares. We need to treat 29,000 hectares of land. 29,000 hectares. If we are able to treat this 29,000 untreated hectares with soil and water conservation, it would changed the face of 140 villages and the population of 800,000 people forever. The root cause of poverty would be removed totally.
Okay.
So these are the two projects that I am looking at. But when I know that this is what I'm going to do. This is what I want to do.
Yeah, these two are great projects,
Yes.
and we wish that will come true very soon. Now, tonight we will know the result of the award. So, if you win this award, who will be the first person you'd like to let them know about this good news?
My colleagues at the Shah Foundation Trust, because they would be waiting to know what happened. My mentor and my chairman, Kanti Sen Shroff, who is now in Mumbai. And of course, my very best friend and a Rotarian, and also my treating doctor, BDG Dr. Manoj Desai.
And if you won the title, then you will also be given 100,000 US. And how would you like to spend this big money on
Yes,
your project?
it is a lot of money, and I would use this as seed money. I would not spend away just like that, but the seed money should be able to raise more funds. Like I could be looking at the government programs. As I said, I'm going to be working on the Mission Mangalam. It is a public-private partnership program. And I could use these funds to leverage more funds from the government. I could use these funds to leverage more matching grants from other Rotary clubs, which I would like to invite. Yes, and then I would use them on these two projects that I described in my endeavors. Work will go on with or without the award, with or without the money. The only thing is that if we are fortunate enough to get the award, it will hasten the speed.
Okay.
咁對呢個大獎有冇啲乜嘢嘅意見可以提供俾我哋作為一個參考，俾我哋將來有啲咩可以係作為改善嘅咧？
I don't know, really, if you ask me my feelings. And for me, it's a very great event. And such awards must be given in recognition. It's not just the money, but when the world comes to know, a lot of other people can be inspired. And I think what the Rotary Club of Hong Kong is doing is just that. And we must continue to inspire others by giving such recognition to people who deserve them.
多謝你，多謝
Thank
你，
you.
所以希望你多啲嚟香港，多啲
Thank you.
知道我哋嘅多謝你。咁又嚟到咧訪問另外一個環節咧，我要為大家介紹咧係一個非常之令人敬佩嘅一位女士，阿 Cecilia 啦。佢咧喺菲律賓咧係負責咧係去對抗一啲販賣人口所衍生出嚟嘅問題嘅。咁佢喺佢嘅家鄉裏邊咧，佢都曾經坐過監，受過好多嘅苦楚嘅。咁但係佢能夠企翻起身，同佢屋企人一齊，同好多義工一齊咧，係去為一啲受到一啲人口販子嘅虐待，將佢哋咧係救出生天，俾佢哋一個重新係奮鬥嘅一個機會嘅。咁今次咧非常高興咧，能夠親身咧喺香港度去做一個訪問。咁我哋希望佢能夠喺今次嘅活動裏邊咧，得到一個嘅認同，係將佢嘅信息咧係散佈去全世界各地。希望我哋能夠更多嘅人咧係仿效佢嘅工作，能夠係為我哋未來一啲受到虐待 受到困擾嘅人咧，係繼續去服務，將佢哋咧拯救於苦海之中。
We would like to know a little bit more about your work in Philippines. Can you tell us a little
Okay,
bit more?
sure, yeah. Well, my name is Maria Cecilia Flores Oibanda. I'm the founding president of the Zion Forum Foundation, a 20-year-old organization based in the Philippines. We are non-profit. Well, the Zion Forum actually focuses on the issue of the modern-day slavery in the Philippines. We work on the issue of human trafficking, domestic servitude, and exploitation of Filipino within the country and abroad. I'm a mother of four. I have four children. I have 2 daughters and 2 sons. I have 1 granddaughter, and that's always makes me happy and always refresh me every day when I go home. The Zion Forum is a national organization. We have around 8 offices all over in the Philippines, and we operate on those hotspot area where the trafficker cases were actually happening. Like other people, I'm just an ordinary mom, ordinary Christian person who is really trying just to respond to the calling to serve. I always believe that life has no meaning at all if you don't put it in the service of others, and I'm very grateful to be given this opportunity to serve and to live a full life in service. So I'm just a simple person that is really trying to
How long
contribute.
have you been doing this kind of service?
Well, actually, I started very young. I have a very complicated life. I'm a child laborer when I was 7 years old. I was in prison during the dictatorship in the Philippines. Not only me, but including my 2 children and my husband. And it is a very difficult life. I thought that life in prison is really the worst life that I've been, that any person can endure. It did. But since I'm with my family in prison, it makes life more difficult, because as my children's already grown up and started to ask questions why we are in prison, it is a torture to a mom, explaining our situation. And actually, I don't have anything to explain. And what I just do is just to carry my children on my back, climb in the tree inside the prison, climb it, and show them that there's life outside that 4 walls. And the problem is that now that they know that there's a life outside the prison, they continue to ask more questions. And we spent 4 years in that prison. And I thought that I'll never recover on that. I thought that my children will be condemned in this place. But when we get out of prison, we realize that there are others, especially young children, 8 years old, actually sold to prostitution, traffic, victimized by traffickers. And we realized that after all, what we endured in prison is really nothing compared to the life of these children was actually endured in the hands of the trafficker. I started very young in service. I was only 14 years old when I was called to serve. I served in the church as a catechist, and then after that, I continued to organize youth, and from then I already offered my life on this. I'm 53 years old, and until now I'm still here serving, and grateful to be called to serve. So yeah.
面對緊一啲咩嘅困難，有啲咩嘅挑戰？
Well, actually, the issue, the problem of human trafficking that I actually fight in the ground is a very difficult battle. It is always like a battleground for us, because what we are doing in Visayan Forum is we rescue and we abort trafficking in transit. We try to stop traffickers in bringing the girls in brothels, in sweatshop, in forced labor. So it is like always running. You're always running after criminals, and human trafficking is a very organized crime. It is syndicated. And of course, we are always in challenge. And the harassment, they give me death threats. They try to cease and desist my spirit to stop this for doing and rescuing people. And for me, sometimes that's the greatest challenge. How to keep you focused, how to pick up your strength, how to continue the fight, because it's a very difficult fight. And it's not only my fight, but also the fight of the girls that I rescued, because they need to be strong in order to face their traffickers in court. The people, the staff that I'm working has really to be strong in order to continue to do our work. And it's a very difficult struggle. It's a very difficult battle. But I believe that once you embrace this kind of life, once you embrace this kind of calling, you embrace this kind of challenge, it's really nothing. So while the threats come, where they file cases against me and everything, I just say, okay, bring it on, baby. Bring it on.
Okay. Yeah. So, what sort of outcome? Are you satisfied with the work you have done so
Definitely, there are still a lot of challenges that we face, because first, it requires a lot of resources, sustaining this kind of job, this kind of battle that we have. We need a lot of allies, and I'm really grateful that the Rotary International is actually taking up this battle by bringing me and putting some spotlight on the work that I'm doing in the ground, and I hope that it sent the message to the trafficker that I'm not alone, that we are not alone in the Philippines. There are enough people who are actually looking on our intervention and trying to help. So and that's great. It's for me. It's really it doesn't stop us. We will continue to do more, and I lost the question.
Now, what
Can you repeat your
kind
question?
of
The
driving
impact.
force
Yeah.
that will be helping you to build that sort of resistance in your work?
Yeah. Well, before answering that question, I would like to go back in your previous question, which is the impact of the work that we have. Well, the impact that we have is that we were able actually to rescue around 70,000 young girls, ages around 8 to 25 years old. 17,000 of them are trafficking victims. We were able to send to school, provide information, provide skills training to around 40,000 individuals who live in the hotspot area. So meaning we were able to prevent them to go in with the traffickers. We have around 200 corporate partners that actually supporting our work as of now. So well,
it is a marvelous outcome.
It is difficult, but I think we are slowly having that impact, and we're trying still to scale up this effort so that all the corners of the Philippines are guarded, and more people will join us our fight. So yeah, in terms of my inspiration, I get my inspiration to the girls that I rescue, the 8-year-old girls that sold to prostitution, but still stand up and said, I want to fight. I want to live my life again as a normal child. And saying that I would like to see my abuser in prison because I don't want him to victimize other girls, you know. So I always get that kind of inspiration to our girls, and they, they give me, they keep me going. They give me the strength. They give me the power and the well-being to continue to fight, and of course, beyond that, I give and anchor my strength to God. My faith is strong. I know that He's in the middle of everything, and He will never leave me and supply me with all the energies and courage that I need in everyday battle. And for me, it's that kind of faith, that kind of inspiration have been actually challenged every day. And to have that kind of inspiration in your life, in your heart every day means life of people that we rescue every day. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that opportunity to be inspired by ordinary girls, ordinary people that I know, and that God that always supply me
You
that
see
courage.
their strength, their courage, and
Their
then that
courage.
will affect you,
Yeah.
and you will
Yes.
be
Continue,
the same.
yeah, the same.
Okay.
It's you know, sometimes people told me that they are thankful that I'm doing this, but at the end of the day, it's me who actually feel very thankful and grateful for the opportunity to live this kind of life. It's difficult, you know. You can imagine, you know, how hard it is, how they
difficult
actually
it is,
treating
yeah.
us, but yeah, it's still a life of full meaning. It is an ordinary life that becomes an extraordinary, and for me, it's an opportunity of a lifetime.
你參加呢一個大賽嘅心情會點咧？當你被提名之後，有啲咩嘅感覺咧？
I feel the honor. You know, I humbled with the opportunity given to me. Standing side by side with the other nominees who are, I think, equally deserve the award. Honor because the term "the one," you know, is it's really, I think, the full recognitions of your contribution. And beyond that, also to compare to Mother Teresa, you know, as a model of selflessness, a model of purity, is a privilege itself. I believe that this project really a milestone. It is innovative, and I don't think that there's such kind of project happening even in Asia, putting some spotlight on the ordinary people who is working in the ground, you know, coming here to Bangkok, to Hong Kong, to be recognized and interviewed by you as one of the nominated in this award. I think it's a mixed feeling. Yeah, I'm sad because it's only now that we have this project. Since we are working for 20 years, struggling in the ground, almost dying every day, and 20 years in waiting, we have here.
But
Seconds.
better than never.
Yeah, but now I'm really happy. I'm really excited, and I hope that it's not only happen in Hong Kong. That I hope that other Rotaries can replicate this in their other countries. You know, see the visions of this great man, David. You know, and I don't know him. I just met her daughter, but I have so much respect on him and thinking this idea. You know, it means a lot to us, especially for me that my life is always written in the ground. You know, it's mean so much to me in putting that light. You know, and bringing the issue of human trafficking in this platform. It's an honor, and it is my privilege.
Then what will be your next project you're planning to do after returning to Philippines?
Well, as of now, we in the Zion Forum is constructing a training center for the victims of human trafficking. Because as of now, what we are doing is that we have this dormitory that address their psychosocial intervention. But this time, we are actually constructing a shelter that can provide an economic opportunity, training, that can have a complete package, and they can start their life, as a very empowered. They will never go back on the same situation because they have education, they have skills, they have power, they have resilience, and that's the project that I'm really looking at. Second, of course, is to try to bring the intervention of the Zion Forum to other countries, similar countries that have the same problem that we are facing, human trafficking, and try to influence them and to replicate our model in the Philippines for their expansion. So that's my plan, and I hope that this gathering here help me bring these dreams into a reality.
假如你哋贏咗今晚攞到個大獎之後，你會將呢個消息第一時間通知邊一個人呢？
The victims and the survivors, I would like to share this honor to the girls that we serve, because as of now they are really very excited to know the results. I will celebrate it with them. They are the first one to know this. Second, of course, is my family.
如果你贏咗之後咧，你會攞到咧係美金10萬蚊嘅，咁你會點樣利用呢一筆嘅獎金咧？
Well, definitely, we would like to spend it to the operation of our training center. As of now, we just finished the construction, but we still need to operationalize it. I will start the culinary school, okay, with the girls. Yeah, we will start the enterprise for the girls. We will spend the money to start the program, to reconstruct their life and make sure that they will not go back again to the same situation. Make sure that they will have education. Make sure that we're going to replicate all our models, go to other areas and rescue more girls. This money is not just money to us. This money is life. This money used to rescue. This money used to reconstruct life of human trafficking victims.
好啦，嚟到最後啦，咁大家參加咗呢一個大獎之後咧，咁對呢個大獎有冇啲乜嘢嘅意見可以提供俾我哋作為一個參考，俾我哋將來有啲咩可以係作為改善嘅咧？
Well, I hope that you continue really for a long, long time because, as I said, this is a very innovative intervention. It is a unique platform for us who are actually struggling in the ground. Second, I would say that the one as a name actually encourage extraordinary effort. We may be the one, we may be the nominees, the finalists for the one, but I would like to say to the Rotary that they are the chosen one. The chosen one to find the one, and they can also be the one. The one to change the world, the one to be the catalyst of change, the one to be continue reaching out to people and serve as a model of selflessness. The one is the one, but everybody can be the chosen one. You need to choose to serve. It is our choice to serve. And everybody who is listening can be the chosen one to be the one.
薛師娜，非常多謝你接受我哋訪問，我哋嘅恭祝你，希望你以後咧事事如意，能夠將你嘅事業咧推廣開去。多謝你，非常多謝你。好啦，嚟到最後一個嘅訪問咧，咁我就揾到一個身形好 巨大嘅一個真係大漢字啦。咁而且佢嘅胸襟亦都好大，志氣亦都好大嘅。咁就係Dr. Daniel Murphy 啦。咁佢喺東帝汶嗰度咧係成立咗佢一個嘅醫療嘅事業啦，係為貧民啦，為一啲弱勢嘅社群咧去尋求一啲醫療嘅輔助。佢亦都不停咧咁樣希望建立到多啲嘅醫療嘅設備，係俾當地嘅市民咧係可以享受到能夠即係提升到佢哋嘅醫療同埋健康嘅水平咧，去到一啲即係可以認受到嘅一個接受到嘅一個水平嘅。咁今日咧，我非常之開心咧，可以認識到Dr. Daniel 啦。咁亦都知道咧，佢哋會有更多嘅進步啦。咁希望嚟緊嘅將來咧，我哋可以同佢保持更多嘅聯絡。如果有嘅需要咧，我哋香港咧亦都一定會熱烈咁樣支持佢嘅工作嘅。
The next question is, who are you? What are you doing in East Timor?
Well, I'm a doctor, and I've been working for many years in different parts of the world. But in 1998, I noticed a change in the political climate of East Timor, and I thought it's possible that maybe some good work could be done in that country. As you know, the East Timorese had been dominated by Indonesia for 24 years, and it was quite brutal, a lot of suffering. But their military dictator, Suharto, fell from power in 1998. To me, this looked like an opening, even though small opening, for the tiny place, East Timor. So I decided to go and try to work there and see if I could contribute to the health of those people. And I've been working since 1998 in East Timor, in the capital city of Dili, and doing medical work, and at times some interviews, some publicity to talk about East Timor.
面對緊一啲咩嘅困難，有啲咩嘅挑戰？
Well, you can imagine in the early years when it was still under Indonesian military occupation, nothing was easy. And you have to be so careful what you say and what you do, because someone might think you're on the wrong side of things. And I did run into a lot of problems. In fact, on 3 occasions, I was deported from East Timor. And some of my problem was working so hard for wounded people, most of whom were Timorese, and also interviews with the media almost every day, because East Timor was undergoing a lot of change, and there was a referendum by the United Nations. This made the international news. I could speak English, and I was in the middle of the story because many wounded would come to me. So I had to do interviews all the time. And this was very challenging because you want to be effective in your message so the outside world could help settle the Timorese problem and give the Timorese their right to self-determination. On the other hand, I had to be so careful because it's still occupied by military Indonesian people. So, and there was at one point where I was even captured going out to the villages to see some people. And I was imprisoned in East Timor just for a few hours. Then the United Nations found a way to have me released. So a lot of challenges, not to mention the medical challenges of very sick people, people with severe injuries and gunshot wounds and so many things that I wasn't prepared for. But I was the only one, so I had to do something.
你喺工作咁多年，你而家目前嗰個成績係點樣？
Well, I would say no more gunshot wounds. That's very positive. I wasn't happy taking care of all those wounded people, but still severe poverty and many diseases that in other parts of Southeast Asia you don't find that often anymore. And we see so much tuberculosis and dengue and malaria and malnutrition that our work is very challenging. And it's a difficult country because no infrastructure, no roads, very poor communication, no materials to work with, no sophisticated diagnosis or laboratory. So basically, you work with your hands and with some few medicines you have, trying to accomplish something.
Okay. Well, you are an Australian, and you are a foreigner to the East Timor. How come you have the driving force to work in East Timor?
Well, actually, I'm from the United States, and I had worked back in the early years in Mozambique, which was another Portuguese colony. And I always worried about the countries that were colonized by Europeans, which is much of the world at one time or another, colonized by Europeans. And the East Timorese had suffered so much during that time, and then the Indonesian occupation. And Indonesia at the time was backed by many other countries around the world, including my own country, because we all have so many investments in Indonesia. And so for me, I wanted to come to this country where people suffered so much and see if I could make a difference.
So what is the driving force behind it? So
well, I can say that I see my role as a doctor not just to help the sick people, individuals, but if I could contribute to some group or some country that's struggling for their own freedom, for their own independence, if I could contribute to those people, then I'm doing something even bigger than just individual treatment and then go back to the same system that made them sick. So that's why to be part of independence for East Timor, to me, was a high point in my work through my life. I like the fact that I could help East Timor, and they are now independent country.
Then, how do you feel right now that being nominated for this award and now come to this final stage that tonight maybe you will be able to get a
Well,
winner
I
award?
would like to think that I'm not so interested in any personal glory or individual fame, but if I have a chance to tell the story of my work and of what's going on where my clinic is, and if that story would motivate some other people to contribute, maybe not even in East Timor, but contribute somewhere to help those less fortunate, I think it's a wonderful opportunity.
完咗今日之後，你哋跟住有冇啲咩嘅新嘅計劃繼續係要去做嘅咧？
Well, I am extremely busy with my work, and I would like to expand what we're doing and maybe deliver a more comprehensive care. And to do that, we need some resources. So every place I go, I try to make contacts and then see if we can increase what we're doing. And I would like to see the health of East Timor something like the health of Hong Kong or Australia or US. My goal would be the same kind of access to good health care that a lot of the other countries in the world have, but Timorese have never had a chance.
Yeah, so would you like to work together with some Hong Kong people to
Well, I can tell you, on this trip, I came through Singapore, and I carried a little box with me on the airplane. Inside the box were 2 vials of blood from one of my patients. I think it's a 13-year-old girl. I think she has leukemia. We made contact with the National Hospital in Singapore. They will analyze this blood. If it is leukemia, they've agreed to treat this person. To me, that's a miracle. If I could make that kind of connection in Hong Kong, I would be so happy. That would be very helpful. Then my trip is a success.
假如你哋贏咗今晚攞到個大獎之後，你會將呢個消息第一時間通知邊一個人咧？
I think the workers at the clinic. I am basically workaholic. All I do is work. Day, night, weekends, same thing. And my connection is with the people I work with, and they would be very pleased to hear that we have got some recognition for the hard work that we do. And I would find a way to tell them immediately.
如果你贏咗之後咧，你會攞到咧係美金10萬蚊嘅，咁你會點樣利用呢一筆嘅獎金咧嚟去做啲乜嘢咧？
As I said earlier, we would dream about and we would like to expand our clinic. Right now, it looks like some broken down houses. You couldn't even really tell it's a clinic. We would like a better place to do more and maybe be able to do some small operations, do more work out in the villages. This is what the money would go for, trying to help the Timorese.
咁對呢個大獎有冇啲乜嘢嘅意見可以提供俾我哋作為一個參考，俾我哋將來有啲咩可以係作為改善嘅咧？
Well, I would like to congratulate the work you're doing, the Rotary clubs, for calling attention to groups and individuals that are reaching out to the unfortunate ones in this world, of which I'm sorry there are so many. But the only way the world has a chance at becoming a better place is if we have people like your group reaching out, giving recognition, and stimulating the same kind of activities throughout the world. I think it's wonderful, and we need more of this for the world to be at peace. It's not just because of humanitarian concerns. How can we ever be peaceful and get along with each other when people are starving and have no health care, no housing, just desperately ill and undernourished? We have to reach out. So to me, this is one way the world can become a better place.
非常多謝你接受我哋嘅訪問，謝謝啊，謝謝。